Meeting is being recorded because I have a lot of people saying, are you going to do it again or is it going to be on replay? So yes, it's on replay. So welcome to today's workshop. We're going to talk about time. We're going to talk about content, and I'm going to teach you. This is the strategy that I use myself in order to keep myself on track. So several years ago, I'll just kind of give you the backstory of how I came to this place. I felt completely out of control I was doing photography at the time, and I, Miss People Pleaser over here, that's me, would basically do a photo shoot whenever someone wanted because I didn't have boundaries and I didn't have like a schedule that really allowed me to say I do photo shoots on these days, right? I was all over the place and I felt like a chicken with its head cut off, running all around. And it wasn't until, if you are a Polka Dot Sister, you may know Jackie Cox. She visited our chapter from Denver, Colorado, and did a workshop for us around time and time mapping. And I had never heard of that. I had never really done any of that before. And the first thing that we did, which is on page 1 of your workbook, I'll actually share my screen so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. Hold on, let me open that file. Was to figure out where the heck you're spending your time, because I was all over the place. So this is what it looks like. So one of the things that I'm encouraging you to do is to actually sit down and print this out and track where you're spending your time. What do you spend your day on? What are you doing throughout the day? What tasks are you doing? And once I sat down and actually figured out how much time I was spending on things that were not in my zone of genius, I realized that I was both my problem and my solution. Right? I had the power to take control back of my calendar, but it meant that I had to change. I had to do something different. That's what I had to do. And when I sat down and I wrote out how much time I was spending on social media, because I thought that as a business owner, that's what I was supposed to be doing, was marketing my business 24 hours a day, I realized that I was not best utilizing my time. And every time I would say, I wish I had more hours in the day. The reality is that we all have the same amount of hours, but how we choose to spend it is the most important. And time is the one thing in the world that you can spend it and there are no refunds. Once you spend that time, you can't get it back. So thank you for choosing to spend your time with me today, because I hope that together we can help you make some changes so that this can be the aha moment that you need in order to make changes in your own life and in your own business, so that you can stop running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Because I felt that way, and I'm positive that I am not alone in that. Now I'm so organized that I sit there and go, now what? Now what do I do? I did all the things. Now what? That is new. I had never really had that feeling before. And I'm gonna tell you, it was like when we had a heat wave a couple of weeks ago, well, yeah, last Monday, we were dying. It was 109 degrees here, no air conditioning. And it was a Monday. Normally Mondays are like, right? And I literally was like, we're going to go to the movies. We went to the movies. Why? Because it had air conditioning and I really wanted to see Ryan Reynolds. So we went to the movies, eye candy and air conditioning. Hello. That's a win-win situation if you ask me, right? So, but I could do that because of how I've set up my calendar. So we're going to talk all about that today. So on this page of the workbook here, you'll see calendar priorities. And I'm giving you a list of 10. I'm going to give you some things to fill out. And if you want to write them in the notes and then order them in order of priority, you can do so. This has to work for you. It's not going to be, this is what I do and this is what you should do. It's going to be, this is one way, but what's the best way for you? Okay. So the first thing that I always do, and I have actually a blank calendar here for you as well, but I always print out a blank calendar. So when I need to get back into alignment with my goals and everything, I print out a blank calendar. I just did it not too long ago. Here it is. And I basically got out my highlighter and I basically filled out, this is what my dream calendar looks like. I'm a color coder. It helps me process. And then I'm going to show you how I fill it all in. Okay. So the things that you're going to want to consider in your priorities, number one, are what I like to call non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are things that you have committed to. It could be a recurring appointment. It could be something that has to do with your children, pick up, drop off, appointments, after school activities, all the things. It could be at the time, like one of my non-negotiables was I was a managing director for Polka Dot Powerhouse, which meant that I had commitments every, certain Monday I had to do this, every Thursday I had to do this. Those were non-negotiables. Those were the commitments that I had already made. So I add those in first. And then the next thing I add in are income producing activities. And the thing with income producing activities is that here I'm giving you a place to make a list of what you consider to be income producing activities. When I was doing photography, my income producing activities could be anything that had to do with a client. So that could have been a consultation. It could have been the actual photo shoot itself. It could have been editing. It could have been designing whatever product they purchased. It could have been delivering, meeting with them. Anything that had to do with my client and the service that I provided was an income producing activity. So that was my second priority that I put on my calendar. And I want to preface by saying that marketing is not an income producing activity. Social media is not an income producing activity. Follow-ups are an income producing activity, but browsing social media is not an income producing activity. Right? Right. Okay. The next thing that I put in my calendar is I give myself time to work on my business. So admin day, you'll see in an example, every Monday was my admin day. And I decide what goes on in my admin day, but I like to do it on a Monday. I still do this to this day. Every Monday is my day to work on what's going on in the week. If I want to schedule all my posts, if I want to do all of those things, then I do that on Mondays. But it could be goal planning, it could be strategizing, it could be anything that is helping you to do stuff in your business. Susan, did you have a question?
Before you go too far, and maybe you're going to get to it, but now my mind is working. Mm-hmm. So do you consider, and again, I know it has to work for me. So I have the admin time in there, and I have a corporate job, and I have, the coaching thing. So I'm trying to juggle that too, but strictly thinking about income producing from a coaching perspective, when I'm working on content, like right now I'm developing an evening team building for a group that I work with. So do you consider that income producing, or do you consider that admin? I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Well, is it going to generate you income?
Well, it is. So, I'm charging them for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I didn't have an actual client,
okay,
then I could work on the thing that is going to generate me income.
Yep. Okay.
Right? Yeah. Does that help?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Like I said, I kind of block things by client or by things that are due, but I want to get in the process of thinking about always having pipeline.
Yeah.
So I find myself creating things for the client right now, but then when that event is over next Wednesday, then I'm empty because I haven't done the things to keep building the pipeline.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. So then the next thing I'm going to add in, and these are all going to be in your preference order, but education. So I wanted to continuously be learning. So I would add an hour every week dedicated to me learning something new. Then I would also, knowing that how important networking was to my business, I would add in any networking meetings. I would add in time for one-to-ones. Anything that was about me building relationships, because I learned that word of mouth marketing was my biggest income earner. So I need to continue doing the things that are generating me income, and getting referrals from people that I had built a relationship with that said, oh, you need to meet Elaine. I needed to continue doing that. Then I add in my marketing activities. So this could be, I'm planning giving myself time on admin day to do my scheduling for Facebook and Instagram for all of the things. And I'm going to show you my connect the dots, how I make that all work. But I had to schedule time for that. Otherwise, my Facebook group, I will totally be honest with you, is the one place where I do things on the fly. Because I need that creative outlet to not be planned, to be able to say whatever is on my heart, whatever I'm thinking. So I use my Facebook group for that. And welcome to the group, Mary. I saw that you joined this morning. Very fun to have you. And the other thing that I add in is flex time. Because guess what? Life happens and shit happens. And you need to be able to make adjustments and give yourself the flexibility to say, well, crap, my kid just called and needs to go to the doctor right now, and I'm supposed to be doing admin work. Flex time. Okay. So are there any things, so I didn't give you 10 items, but are there any items that you would add to your list of priorities that I haven't mentioned? The other thing that I like to add in is teaching. I love to teach. And so that was something that I decided to add into my calendar because I love it and I wanted to make time for me to do so.
Do you put anything in, Elaine, and maybe that you do it separately and you don't include it? I mean, obviously it's what I do. I'm a big one on making sure I schedule self-care or fitness or things like that. Do you put things like that on yours?
Yes, and you're going to see in my calendar. Okay. Yep, you're going to see in the example that I did about how I did that.
That was so when I already started to fill mine out. That's all I had is fitness for the first 3 hours, and after that, I got nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll kind of show you what that looks like for me. Yeah. Anyone else? And by the way, happy birthday, Paula.
Thank you.
I hope you have a great day. I already posted on your little wall, but I hope you have a great day.
Woohoo!
Yay! All right. So, so you get to decide how you want to order those priorities. What are you going to add to your calendar first, second, third, fourth, right? You get to decide that. And then you get to decide what your income producing activities are. You define those for the type of business that you have. Okay. Then what I want you to do is we have a blank calendar here, and I call this the dream calendar. This is for you to basically say, if I could choose any way how I want to run my life, how I want to show up in my business, this is what I want it to look like. Now down here, I know it's sideways, but otherwise it was going to be really super tiny. This is my, this is what a sample calendar could look like. So you'll see here this is my 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And actually I wake up a little earlier than that, but I don't get out of bed until 8 a.m. typically. Sometimes I have to, but most of the time that is my self-care time. It means I get to do whatever I want to do. And if that means I want to lay in bed an extra 30 minutes and be warm and snuggly, then that's what I get to do. But I choose that. So if I want to read, if I want to listen to a podcast, if I decide I want to get up and take a hot bath, I decide that. So my day does not start until 9 a.m. typically. And I've chosen it that way. If I wanted to get up extra early and be more productive, I could absolutely do that. But my office hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I work at home, which means that I had to train my husband that just because I'm home doesn't mean that I'm not working. And so I'm not preparing dinner until after 5 p.m. So therefore, if you want dinner before 5 p.m., you can cook it. Because I'm at work. That's what I tell him. Pretend I'm not here. And I also have to give myself a lunch break. Otherwise, I will forget to eat lunch because I get so in the zone. And so I have to schedule that because also time zones. If I'm sharing my calendar and I have my lunch break open, guess what happens? For someone else, it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And they're like, oh, 2 o'clock's open. And it's for me lunchtime. So I have to schedule myself my own lunch break. Otherwise, I will forget to eat or someone will accidentally schedule time because I didn't block it out. So you'll see here, I have my admin day typically on Monday, and I do admin, strategy, blogging, posting content. That's my admin day. And if I were doing bookkeeping, which I'm not because I've delegated that shit out, then I would have had that in there as well. And then client activities, I have 3 days a week and I decide what those are. That could be meeting with clients, that could be coaching, that could be any of the things. I have time in here for connects. I have time in here for networking. I have time in here for follow-ups. I have time in here for teaching. I have time in here for education, flex time. So basically like Fridays are flex time, where if shit hits the fan and something happens, then I would basically swap time and say, well, I didn't get to do my follow-ups on this day because something happened. And then I would say, okay, so I'm going to swap that and do follow-ups on Friday. So this is a sample, doesn't mean you have to do it this way, but it's just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of time blocking in a color-coded way looks like. Okay. So then what I do is once I have filled out, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Once I have filled out my dream calendar, then what I do is I go into my current calendar and I add in my appointment. Like I have a blank calendar, but now I'm looking at my current calendar and I am adding in the things that I've already have done, which means that for a while, my calendar is going to be a little wackadoo until my current, I go into Google Calendar and I add in my dream calendar. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to block out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays for client activities from 9 to 2. That's what I did. And then what's going to happen is moving forward, once all of the appointments kind of like start going and merging with the new calendar, anything new that I add goes into the dream calendar in the way that I've designed it. So it's a little off at first, but it's now any new appointment, I go with the schedule of the dream calendar. Does that make sense? So it is going to look a little wackadoo at first because you're going to be like, whoa, this is not what I thought, right? Stacy, what question do you have?
Okay, so I got lost when you said you go into Google, you take your dream calendar and you add it in. So basically you took your dream calendar and you have client activities from 9 to 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you blocked those out
Yes.
on your current Google calendar.
Yes.
And what you're saying is until it gets caught up, everything's going to kind of overlap a little
Yes.
bit. And
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically you're kind of planning for the future.
Okay.
And so the other thing that this does, you guys, is it makes room for new clients. You're telling the universe when you have time to bring in new clients. You've set aside the time for new clients by saying, I'm committing to doing client activities 3 days a week. You're telling the universe that you have time. And if you do not have a client during that time, well, guess what client activities are? Follow-ups. That's a follow-up is a client activity. So that time that you have set aside, that you have blocked out, you should be doing either spending with a client or trying to get a new client, right? Setting up consultations, doing anything you can to fill that spot. And doing client work is a client income, it's a client activity. So you're either working with a client, for a client, or you're made room for a new client. And I make it green because it's the color of money. So I'm very intentional about the colors that I use, right? And if something was polka dot related, I made it pink or orange because that was polka dot colors, right? So I was very intentional about the colors that I use when I color block. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, so the next part of our workbook is kind of moving into content. And there are some parts of the content that are going to reflect in the calendar, okay? So when we are talking about content, we are talking about the things that you put out into the world to let people know about your business, to share with them what you do and how you do it, and to give value, right? So adding value to people's lives, putting out content. How can you help people? How can you change someone's life with the content that you produce? So the first thing that I like to do is I look at my business and I look at my goals and I make content that is going to reflect the goals that I have set for my business. My calendar and my goals and my content must all be in alignment. So if I've set a goal for myself that I want to have 10 new clients, for example, or I want to have so many people attend my workshop, or I have a retreat that I want to fill, or I have a book that I want to write, whatever my goals are, I have to make room for those activities to get done in my calendar. So I have to add those activities. I have to give myself room in my calendar to achieve those things. And the content that I produce, I'm going to use a retreat as an example. I don't have one planned, but I'm going to use it as an example. If I wanted to plan a retreat and let's say it's in December, it's not, but let's just say that it is. The content that I produce is going to be all around how retreats are amazing, how the results people get from going to retreats, how they have made an impact in someone's life. Everything I do is going to be around, I'm going to make a list of the topics that I can talk about for retreats. Does that make sense? So it's not willy-nilly content. It is specific, it is in alignment with my goals, and there's an intention and a purpose there. So I make a list, and all I need is one topic per week. One topic per week. So everything that I make a list for, I can drag that out into 1 week's worth of content. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? Because I know it can be like, what? Sometimes it's the first time you've heard about doing it this way, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be intentional about producing content. I can't just throw it out there. Like I have to have a plan. Like, oh my gosh, I know it can be a little shocking at first. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. So make a list of your topics. You have your goals. You know what your goals are. Make a list of topics that are in alignment with those goals. Okay. Your intentions and goals. So you can also write those down here too. And then how will you align your goals in your calendar? So if I'm like, I want to, I'm going to host a retreat. It's going to be in this time. And these are the activities that we're going to do. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add things to my calendar, block that time out, those priorities to talk about. That could be Facebook Live. I could give myself more marketing activities where I'm going to do Facebook Lives, and I need to schedule that out. Maybe I need to give myself planning time for the retreat. Maybe I need to give myself time to do interviews with people that I want to have as a part of my retreat as collaborators. So I need to give myself time on my calendar to actually accomplish the goals so that I'm not working past 5 p.m. because I didn't give myself time to do those things during the week. And I need to give myself time on my calendar to distribute my marketing content. So whether that's an admin day or you put another day of the week that you're going to do that, totally up to you. So when it comes to content, there are 4 types of content. You have audio, which could be a podcast. Green Room is a brand new, if you are familiar with Clubhouse, this is Spotify's version of Clubhouse. It's called Green Room, and it allows you to record the conversation and turn it into a podcast. It's pretty stinking amazing. Clubhouse does not have that feature. And of course, Clubhouse. So the cool thing is that any content, like you create weekly content, you can go start a Clubhouse room and talk about that topic, right? Go talk to people, go join rooms, start a room. I know it can be scary. You're worried nobody's going to show up. Doesn't matter. Just do it anyways. Video. If you are not using video in your marketing, you are missing out on some major stuff here. Facebook gives preference to videos than to written and pictures. So YouTube, Instagram Reels, IGTV, Facebook Live, TikTok, and Facebook pages are where all of your video content can go. Okay, it can also go on LinkedIn, but it's not really the platform for it. Written, creating a blog, putting that on Pinterest, which is, by the way, the 3rd highest search engine. Google, YouTube, Pinterest. Putting that blog on Pinterest is a must. You could also share your written content on Medium. Post a link to your blog on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Send it out to your email list. Put it in LinkedIn if it's for business. And then, of course, you have visual, which are photos. So that's Instagram, Facebook, Facebook groups, Instagram stories, Facebook pages. So you can kind of see each platform offers different things. And the beauty of it is that sometimes they all intertwine. and I'm going to show you how. So this is my connect the dots. And basically, I'm going to kind of reduce this so it'll all show up in the page here. So this is the strategy that I use. I write a blog or an article about my content for the week. Then I put that on Pinterest. I copy it to Medium. I send it out to my email list. I add it to LinkedIn. I'm not really on Twitter, but it is an option. Okay. I can also add that to Facebook. I can do a Facebook Live about my article, talk about it. Then I can put it on my Facebook page. I can add it to my Facebook group, start a conversation. Okay. I might do video, and here's the thing that I might do. Zoom allows you to stream live onto Facebook or YouTube. So I might do a video on Zoom, but stream it into my group. And now guess what? I don't have to do it again. I just did it. I record the video on Zoom and I upload it to YouTube. I can take the audio file that Zoom gives me and add it to a podcast. Right? So then now I can break my content, my one piece of content, up into 6 little things for Instagram, 1 post per day, which can also go onto Facebook, by the way, at the same time using Facebook Creator Studio. I can take that video and I can add it to IGTV. I can take clips from the video, like the major talking points, and I can condense it down to 30 seconds and put that on Instagram Reels. I could condense it down to 60 seconds and put it on TikTok. I could also do Instagram stories as well. So, and then I could do my audio and start a room on Clubhouse and talk about my piece of content for the week. It may feel like it's a lot. I get it. It felt like very overwhelming at the time as well, but I figured out I can do this all under an hour because I have a system and I go in and I make all my graphics at the same time. So I write my content first and figure out what the heck I'm going to talk about and what are the talking points. And then I make my graphics and I make my Instagram stories graphics and I resize using Canva Pro. My YouTube cover photo can also be a Facebook post. It can also go on LinkedIn. It can also go on Medium. It can also be the graphic for my blog post. So I don't have to create a new graphic for each thing. It's how can I reuse what I've already created? My Instagram story cover can also be the one that goes on Pinterest. So I'm very careful about how I do that. And I make sure that it's like 10 tips or something like that. And I'm going to just tell you, Canva Pro is totally worth it, $12 a month in order to resize my graphics so that I can literally resize it to whatever I need it. And boom, I don't have to go in and create a whole new thing. Right? So here's my checklist. So right here, you would write in your topic for the week. So you could print out this page and over and over and over for each topic that you have for the week. But here we go. Write your blog, post it to Pinterest, post it to Medium, send to your email list, share in Facebook groups, LinkedIn, Twitter, schedule your daily post, Instagram, and make it go to your Facebook page. Your Instagram stories could also go onto Facebook stories. Convert your IG stories to highlights. And then I have video and audio and all of the things over here. Right? So basically I've made myself a little checklist so that I don't forget anything. And then I have an Instagram grid, and I'm going to show you what that looks like at the bottom. I actually took my current Instagram grid to show you an example. Doesn't mean you have to do it like mine, not saying that, But a grid, if you were to look at Instagram and you see people that have beautiful Instagrams and you're like, how do I get mine to look like that? I struggled with that for the longest time, you guys. I couldn't figure out how they made it so pretty. And the trick is you start at the bottom right corner is number 1. And then it goes from this way, it goes from right to left. So you post number 1 and then number 2 and then number 3 and then number 4, number 5, number 6. And you can do a grid of 9. I started doing a grid of 6 because it's 1 per day and I don't post on Sundays. So it kind of, right? So it gives me an opportunity to talk about something every single day. And it's kind of a new week starts and then I have a new piece of content. So my favorite tools and systems, these are all clickable links. If you were to open this up as a PDF, this is everything that I use. I will tell you, I use Tave, but Dubsado and Honeybook I don't use, but those are very popular platforms that you may need for organizing your clients and kind of having profiles of your clients. My Remarkable tablet, I'm going to tell you why I love this. Here's my Remarkable tablet. You know what I do with this, you guys? I don't know if it'll let me, if you'll be able to see it, but what I do, I can import a blank Google Calendar into this and I write on it. So I help other people do this. And so I write on this and I can erase it. It's so nice. I can erase, you guys. And I can make changes and I can send it to someone. But like here we go. Let me see. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. Where is it? Here we go. So I basically I wrote out all of the things that I was going to post on her Instagram. And then I checked it off that I had been scheduled. It was fantastic. So you can import worksheets, PDFs into your Remarkable tablet and write directly on them and then mail and then send them to yourself, send them to someone else. Love it, love it, love it. I do not get kickbacks for promoting Remarkable tablet. Like this link literally just goes to their website. But I'm telling you, it was a really great purchase. And I try to keep it from eliminating all of the paper that I have on my desk. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I still love my notepads that Miss Shauna designed for us. I love her notepads. Very nice, just to have a little handy something. So Canva Pro, Trello is a great way to organize your content. Squarespace and Wix are the 2 website providers that I use. Some people like WordPress. Me and WordPress are not friends. I'm not even going to lie to you. Kajabi, if you do courses or anything like that, Kajabi does cost money. The free version, the free option of courses and memberships is MemberVault. And here is a link to them. So everything over here on the left are paid. Everything over here is free. Okay, so Facebook Creator Studio is how you schedule and plan your Facebook and Instagram content. And you can, and the beautiful thing, if you do not know this, I was so mad that I did not know that this was a thing until Paige told me, was that you can create Instagram and post Instagram content from your desktop using Facebook Creator Studio. Game changer. Because I was downloading images to my phone from the Canva app in order to add it to Instagram. And was that time efficient? No. So now that I know about this, I literally can create my content in Canva and I can choose to either download it and upload it, or I can use Canva Pro to schedule it to Instagram right from their platform. Amazing. Same with Pinterest. You can literally just post it right from Canva now, which is amazeballs. Anchor.fm is a great platform if you want to have a podcast. It is now owned by Spotify. And if you have a podcast that is only on Spotify, you can use Spotify music in your podcast, which is really cool. But it will not distribute it to the other platforms if you have music that is through Spotify. So if you wanted to go on iTunes, you can't use the music. I'm just letting you know that. It's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But Anchor.fm will distribute your podcast to all the platforms. You can also monetize it by allowing people to put commercials onto your podcast. Okay. If you need free graphics or photos, I love Unsplash. Really great high quality photos. So you could literally type in desk, okay? And you're gonna get all kinds of really cool staged photos of desks, right? That you could utilize in your photos. You Can Book Me is the service that I use for my calendar. Some people use Calendly, some people use Acuity. Use what works best for you, but I chose You Can Book Me because it connected with my Google Calendar. I do pay the $10 a month to have the paid version, but they do have a free version. Okay. Google Keep, great place to store your captions, great place to make notes that come to your mind of things that you want to do when you are out and you don't have a notebook with you. I use Google Keep to store all that stuff, and I love that I can also access it on my desktop as well. Member Vault is where I host a lot of my courses, and I use Member Vault on a regular basis. I just used Kajabi for the first time, and that was I built my client a Kajabi site in a day for her. Marco Polo is one of my favorite communication platforms, and I can talk to my clients directly and kind of hear their voice, see their expression, and I can also have a group. So we have a group chat where we're all together, and it's like our own little community where we all talk to each other and share what's going on and hold ourselves accountable. Marco Polo is a great free platform to communicate with your clients, just saying. Linktree is also a free service that I use where I, like on Instagram, for example, you can only have one link. And if you're talking about multiple things like I am on Instagram, I say link in bio, they click on my link tree, and it then shows them click on the button of where you want to go. So it's a great place to have all of your stuff organized into one. Square is a great place if you have things to sell. You could set up a little online store. They now have Square. I'm just going to tell you, I was very impressed with them a couple of weeks ago. One of my clients, we're adding appointments to her website, and her website is on Square, and there was a glitch. And I got on the phone with them, and they emailed me every day to let me know the status of it being fixed. And so I was really impressed with them. Not so much with the chat dude because he was not listening, but when I got on the phone with somebody and talked with a human, I was really impressed. So just giving them a little shout out for that because I didn't expect it. MailerLite, I actually switched from MailChimp to MailerLite, and I have the free version, and I'm able to do really great stuff with it. So I'm totally impressed with them. And then Airtable is another platform that I use to organize content, and I do it's like an Excel spreadsheet on steroids. And then Mighty Network is a great, if you would like to have a community or you want to do, they have a free version where you can share content, and it's an app. So if you wanted to have an app that is a community, Mighty Networks is a great place for that. So let's talk about graphics that you might need for social media. So you'll see here, these are the graphics that I need for a week for the in-source marketing agency. So I always do some tips. On this one, I talked about the tips, and then on this one, I talked about the how to implement the tips. I love quotes. They are like a part of me, and I love to find quotes that are relevant to the topic. I love it. I have to do it. It's just a thing. And then this is an IGTV. So when you do an IGTV, so I took my video and I posted it on IGTV, you can have a preview available onto your feed. So now I can just use my IGTV as part of my feed, right? The only thing that bugs me, and I will tell you this, the only thing that bugs me is that you can't have a square for your IGTV preview so that it looks right in your feed. It's a hot mess. That's my only complaint, is that you have to have it the long way instead of the square. And so it drives me crazy, but it's not my platform, so I have to play by their rules. And then I have a call to action, right? So every week I have one call to action. You'll notice all I'm doing in here is giving value, 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 offer. Okay. So then all of these, they're square, which means they can also go on Facebook. Facebook does not have any size restrictions. So anything that goes onto my Instagram also goes onto my Facebook. And then Pinterest and IG stories and IGTV cover is going to be this long, long one. And you know what I did? I created this, resized it to here, boom, done. And then my YouTube cover can also be a LinkedIn and a blog cover. And then Medium has a little bit of a size difference. And so I just figure out what that is. And that's what I did for Medium, right? And so this is what it looks like in action. So this is what my new Instagram, I literally just took a screenshot so you guys could see what it looked like. So this is what my new, but you'll see I kind of rotate through my branding colors that Miss Shauna Stanley, who's on this call, did for me, and my beautiful logo. She's responsible for all of that, FYI, Shauna Stanley. But I love to play with the different colors that are in my branding. So it's all cohesive, but you can tell that where it belongs. Do you see what I'm saying? So organizing your content. So these are hyperlinks if you would like to. This is a Trello board that you are welcome to use. All I ask is that you duplicate it before you edit it. But this is basically a Trello board that Paige and I created back in December that you're welcome to use if you need help with organizing your content. Notion is a brand new platform. I was Googling last night about some, because I feel like it changes all the time. There's new programs and services and platforms coming out all the time. And one that I discovered that I was like, is called Notion. So there's a link here, but I haven't used them yet. So I can't give you a yay or yay or nay yet. And then I have my Airtable. If you look at Airtable and go, wow, I could actually really use this. This is not for everyone. But if you want to use Airtable, and I will share my template with you, just send me an email and I will send it to you. Because there's a thing you need to do you got to duplicate it. So I want to make sure that I give you instructions on how to do that so that you don't screw up my Airtable, but I will share my template with you. And then to schedule your content, you can use Facebook Creator Studio, and Paige loves Plan. I don't use this, but she does. She is a visual. She likes to plan her content based on visual. I don't. I do mine a little bit different. So the beauty of it is that you decide what works best for you. That's the thing, is what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So what I would like to do is I'm going to look and see if there are any If there's anything in the chat, any questions? Oh, Word Swag. Yes. Word Swag is a great resource as well. Thanks for sharing that, Mary. Does anyone have any questions or need any help with trying to figure out how to make this work for you? Because I don't want you to walk away feeling overwhelmed. I want you to walk away feeling empowered and that you know you have a plan. Like you're going to make this happen and get organized so that you can start to take back control of your life and your business and stop running around like a chicken with your head cut off. So how can I help you? How can I support you through that? Stacy.
First of all, I love every single bit of this whole thing.
Thank you.
Awesome, 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 awesome training, awesome job. My question is, as far as planning the main thing, the blog topic, what is your creative process for that? Share with me your brain, please.
Yeah. So what I do is I basically look at my list and I say, okay, what am I going to talk about this week? Right? I've already made a list. So literally I'm just picking one topic. And then I start with a blog post because that's where my brain dump happens. And from that, I love to look up resources. I want to give value. So if there's something that is working for someone out in the world, I want to be able to share that with whoever is reading my blog. So if there's a resource that I can link to and say, I found this great article that can help you solve this problem that we all have, then I'm going to do that. So I look for resources. I also look for quotes because, like I said, I love quotes and they become part of my thing. But then I try to say top 10, top 5, whatever it is, how can I help someone solve this problem in step by step? So it's not just me rambling, but I want to provide a solution. So like I did top ways to stand out in your industry. I did top 10 conversion events that you could add to your business to generate income. So I'm giving people I give it away freely. How can I help add value? And if I help someone solve a problem, that's all I care about. I don't care if they don't hire me. That's not what I care about. So from that, then I say, okay, now I have top 10 conversion events. And now I'm going to make a video about the conversion events and how to do it. I'm going to give them all the things that I can think of to help somebody out in their business. So I kind of look at it in that aspect is, what about this topic can I teach someone to do for themselves? Does that help?
It helps immensely. The topic ideas come from just market research,
They come from my goals. They
Okay.
come from, so when I'm saying like, I am right now in a conversion event, right? I have a conversion event coming up and I'm like, maybe I could teach other people about conversion events because there's a lot of different types of conversion events that people could do. So I made a list of the types of conversion events that I could think of, like masterminds or group programs or one-to-one or a retreat or 5-day challenge or whatever, to be able to, and I scheduled one for myself. And while I did that, I said, I made a list. Why can't I share what I just created? So I look at the goals that I have in my business, and then I take that and I make a list because my goals and my calendar and my content are all in alignment. So the things that I'm talking about are things that I am currently experiencing. Does that help?
So much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Trina.
I spent a lot of time on hashtags in the past, and you didn't mention those at all. Are they important still, or?
Well, I actually watched a gal on TikTok the other day that was talking about hashtags, and I don't spend a lot of time on hashtags. Paige, on the other hand, she's the hashtag girl. She uses Google Keep to put all of her hashtags in there, like for real. So what this gal said, she went to this Instagram conference, and the consensus was, instead of using 30 hashtags, they're recommending 15, and they're recommending that they go into the comments and not into the caption. The other thing was, there are hashtag search things that you can do out there. Like before you use a hashtag for your business, make sure you search that and it's not attached to something that you don't want in alignment with your business. Right? Because you don't want that to happen accidentally, because remember, hashtags are searchable. So I don't spend a lot of time overthinking hashtags. It's not, hashtags never brought me business. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like I try to look at the things that actually bring me business, and it's not hashtags.
do you think they would change every week too with the topic?
They should, yes. So I would say whatever your topic is about, if you're going to use hashtags, align those hashtags with your topic. And then have your, your branded hashtags that you use on a regular basis on every post, but mix them up. Mix them up. So that was another thing that she had mentioned, was that mixing them up and having it relevant to your topic. Yeah. Any other questions? We have 2 minutes. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But was this helpful for you guys? Did I completely did I overwhelm you? I hope that I didn't overwhelm you. I hope the checklist is helpful, like being able to, see it in a tangible, easy to do way, right? That's really what I wanted to do for you guys. So, well, thank you all. Oh, very nice. Thank you for the lovely comments. So, thank you guys so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. I love teaching. So I will try to be doing a free thing every month just because I love doing it. So if there's something you would like me to teach, feel free to let me know. If there's something you want to learn, I will create content and everything you need in order to help you solve that problem, because that's really, truly is my goal. Okay. So thank you so much. Happy birthday, Paula. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.